Hey Denver, Bree here. At the end of today's episode, I've got a sponsored interview with Energy Outreach Colorado. Andy Kaler, VP of Building Programs, is going to tell me about how hotter summers and rising electricity costs are pushing Colorado families to the breaking point and how you can help right now. Brought to you by Energy Outreach Colorado.
Welcome to CityCast Denver. I'm Paul Karolyi, and here's what Denver's talking about. Today, we are going to discuss one of my absolute favorite subjects, parking, with a couple of regular guests. First, she is on the precipice of becoming editor emeritus of Westword magazine, the publication she co-founded and has edited for more than 50 years. Welcome back to the show, Patty Calhoun.
Thanks, Paul.
Patty, I have to acknowledge it, since this whole episode is dedicated to parking, some of our listeners have a special relationship with you and the topic. I wonder if you are aware that people think of you as Parking Patty.
I was unaware of that, and it's ironic because my office is always in a place where I can generally go on foot to wherever I need to go. But I am sure, like the mayor, I hear a lot about parking issues downtown and why it often is an obstacle to people going downtown. So it comes up in our stories, and I'm going to be interested to hear what the mayor has to say.
Well, you've alluded to our second guest. I will introduce him now. You know him as the mayor. Welcome back, Mayor Mike Johnston.
Thanks so much for having me, Paul. Great to be on with you all.
So the mayor, what is your relationship with parking? Does it stress you out? Are you one of those like cool as a cucumber people?
It stresses me out more in that I think it makes me change behavior in subtle ways that people don't always notice, which is when you're deciding where to go to dinner on a Saturday night, you pick Colfax or you pick Broadway or you pick, Central Park or you pick Park Hill because they're easy to park, and you don't go to downtown because it's hard to park. So I do feel like it is a complexity, it's a frustration for me, and it's a time suck.
Absolutely. I mean, it sounds like you've been kind of living in this last few days. I mean, we're about to talk about a big idea that you had, but how has it been just being immersed in like parking policy? I know this is a deep well.
Yeah, we've gotten deep into the rabbit hole on this because both it's an urgent need to make the city more accessible. We're still very committed to encouraging people to use public transit and to use bikes and other modes when they can. But we just think given the lifestyle in Denver and the opportunities to go places without solving parking for downtown, it will continue to be a major deterrent for folks to come downtown.
Okay, let's get to the idea. This is the moment. You just announced it today. Can you explain what this big new idea for parking downtown is?
Yeah, the big idea is we wanted a flat, cheap rate for parking that you could rely on all the time and not have to be able to look for hours for a place to park or to land at a place and find out you knew the rate for the first hour, but the second and third hours jumped up dramatically and suddenly you owe $45 to park there. And so what we've put in place is a Mayor's Park 5 program, which is you can get $5 to park any night of the week. So Monday through Sunday, any night you want to come downtown for drinks, dinner, go out to an event, game, concert, comedy club, it's $5 the whole night. And Monday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it's also $5 all day. So you could come down on a weekend at 10 a.m. and decide to go to the Museum of Illusions and then go to lunch somewhere and then go to shop and then go to a show or go to dinner or drinks. And you can not have to worry about moving your car every 2 hours. You don't have to worry about paying exorbitant rates. It just presses the easy button to say, you can come downtown. You find the app, you find on one-stop shop on an app to find any spot you need, and it's $5 any night of the week and Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I'm just reading between the lines here, and I'm seeing the times that you've picked, or maybe you've picked with your partner, Spot Hero. I know there's this parking app you're talking about that's involved in this, but it's Mondays and Fridays, and then it's weeknights and weekends, and that is the opposite of the times that people are now currently going downtown. Is this like a reverse surge pricing situation here? Like, because people are already typically working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday downtown and filling those garages.
But the key is when folks are not coming downtown is to come eat dinner downtown. So this is a big focus on supporting our restaurants and our bars in downtown who have been, talking for a long time about how much this is a challenge for them. And so that's a big change is any night of the week, you can now eat downtown, simple to park, cheap to park. And it is coming downtown as a weekend activity. It is, the idea that you should come down on a Saturday because you can go to the Museum for Black Girls. You can go to the new Sunday ice cream. You can walk over to the History Museum or the Art Museum. You can go to a show. I think we want it to be a destination. When I was a kid, you just hang out on 16th Street for the day. And we want that to be an activity again. But yeah, we partnered with, just so people know, the city's not spending $1 on this. We're not subsidizing any of the parking lots. We're not subsidizing Spot Hero. And actually quite the reverse. Spot Hero is releasing and giving up their surcharge they put on spots. And we got these lots to partner with us to agree to lower rates than they're normally charging, because everyone has a shared interest in people coming back to downtown. So this is a huge win-win-win for us, that we have a partner in an app and a partner in these privately owned lots and the city all combined to support small business in downtown.
Patty, what do you think about this?
Well, I think it's a great idea. I've even heard it floated that maybe parking should be free. I'm interested in a couple different things. One is, how do you prevent employees of businesses from using it, and maybe employees of the city if they're working late or these funny hours? Did that come into thinking at all? But I'm really most interested in, how much do you hear people complain about parking? And a lot of it I know is street parking, or that bike lanes have taken it over, but just parking downtown is an obstacle to coming downtown. I know you must.
I hear it all the time. I hear the second one all the time, and I hear it the most from restaurants. And Patty, you're right, because you hit on already what is the nuance here. In some ways, Paul, the story of this idea is the story of all the ideas we didn't take, right? Which is, you could say, make every meter free in downtown. First of all, there are only 2,000 parking meters in all of downtown. We're talking about 3,000 to 5,000 spots available immediately. And if you are a restaurant or a coffee shop or a bar, you don't want the meter in front of your restaurant to be free, because someone will stay for 15 hours. And you actually want those meters to be rapid turnover. You want someone to come, run an errand, buy something, and leave, and have someone new come and run an errand and buy something and leave. And so there was a balance where we wanted some to be short turnover spots, and those are meant to be meters in front of those establishments, but we want some to be longer term. And so, Patty, the answer is, in these places, we'd love it if actually an employee comes to park for her shift on a Saturday, works a lunch shift, gets off at 8, and then stays to go out and have a late dinner in Denver or drink or whatever, because we want to have you stay and activate the same place. We wouldn't want that at a meter. And we explicitly want this to be a way for people to say, all right, you could come down on, 4:00 for a meeting on a Thursday, and then stay for a drink, stay for dinner, stay to go out. And so this was targeted. And we also wanted it to be geographically accessible across all of downtown. So it's not just one lot or one region. We want you to be able to park easily in lower downtown and upper downtown and Ballpark over by Auraria. So this complexity of places and gives you a much better chance to find the spot you need.
No, I think it's a really exciting idea. You said we have 2,000 parking meters downtown. Is that more or less than we used to have with bike lanes coming and different construction? Has it stayed pretty level?
I don't know the exact answer to that, Patty. I'll have to get it for you, because I know you all care deeply about the specific details. My sense is, you're right. I know Paul will call me out if I'm wrong. My sense is it's probably down a very small amount. And I think there's certainly some changes in bike lanes or bus lanes or construction, but no dramatic shift, I think, in the number of parking spaces in downtown. But and even though you feel like there are a lot, there aren't nearly enough. To compare, there are almost 40,000 lot parking spaces. So it's almost 20 times the volume in lots that are currently in meters.
This episode is brought to you by the Vail Wine Classic. Featuring international wines and spirits, as well as Colorado's home favorites like Carboy Winery, Outer Range Brewing, and Woody Creek Distillers, the Vail Wine Classic is where it's at. While being wine-centric, there's something for everyone at this amazing weekend in the heart of the Rocky Mountains. At the Grand Tasting, drink lovers can enjoy unlimited samplings of over 300 wines, spirits, and brews, spanning everything from West Coast vineyards to Argentinian makers and gourmet local food. The Vail Wine Classic, happening August 6th through the 8th, includes programming such as sommelier-led wine hikes, paired lunches and dinners at Vail's top restaurants, and an exclusive sunset showcase called Best of Fests, featuring 90-plus rated wines overlooking the Gore Range. Ticket prices go up as it gets closer to the big event, but you can save money by buying sooner. Just use code CITYCAST at checkout for $10 off. For tickets and a full schedule, visit ValeWineClassic.com. And don't forget to use code CityCast for $10 off.
Hi, I'm David Plotz. I'm the CEO of CityCast, a podcast network that includes this show you're listening to, and also 12 other CityCasts in 12 other cities. And each one knows their city as well as your local team knows yours. So isn't it time we connected them? Don't you want to know how they're tackling their bike lane problems and housing challenges and sidewalk dog poop crises? That's why I'm hosting a new podcast called Your City Could Be Better. Because it could be. Every week, I'll chat with a different host in our CityCast network about what their cities are doing right and wrong, the weird things they're trying, and the surprising successes, so that we can all learn how to make our cities a little bit better. Listen to Your City Could Be Better on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
Can you talk more about the Spotify or the Spot Hero? That's the company? I wasn't familiar with this app before, and it's an app that I have to download to get this.
It is. It's an app. And the reason why we chose Spot Hero is they partner with any parking lot of any sort in the city. So it's almost just like a search function for available spots. And so we didn't want to just go with one lot or one partner or one geography. And so we tried a bunch of other ideas like finding dedicated lots or dedicated locations. We even looked at places where you could park and then have shuttle systems run you to and from. But we thought it was easier to have a combination of lots, and so they became the right partner because they map spots everywhere. So yeah, you download Spot Hero, you go on the app. All it will do is it will you put in Denver, and it'll show you all the available spots at all the rates, and you'll see all these spots now at $5. You just tap one of them, it reserves that spot for you, and you go. Cool thing is you can reserve them in advance. So say you're going to do dinner Thursday night at 7, you can make your dinner reservation. You can make your parking reservation at the same time. So you have it before you even worry about getting in the car and driving or being stressed when you're down there or having to rush and do it before you get in the car when everyone's getting ready. You can actually do it 4 days in advance if you want to. So that's what we like about it is it's a one-stop shop where you can find any spot you need in any structure you need.
It's just such a curious arrangement. Some people would call this a public-private partnership. This is a private company y'all are working with. And I just don't quite understand what Spot Hero gets out of this. They're just like lowering the prices for no other reason than you asked them to.
Well, they are because they're going to get a lot more people that will use the app. And I think the Spot Hero and the parking lots have mutual interest here, which is they want people to get in the practice of coming downtown more often and being able to come down and park more often. And yes, if you come and use one of our Mayor's Park 5 spots on a Thursday night, but to your point, Paul, you got to come back to work next week on a Wednesday and you want to be here all day, you might use a different lot that charges a different rate. And our belief is that we can help solve this as a win-win by volume. If you have a lot that's 50% vacant at a $10 or $15 rate, if we can get it to 100% full on a $5 rate, that is better for parkers and it's better for the lot owners. So we think it's set up to be a win for all of us, but it is to their credit that they agreed to waive. So now we have a promo code which is Mile High 5, and when you put that in, Spot Hero waives their 99-cent fee they normally do. So that's a great compromise for them, and these lots are willing to compromise because they too want to see more folks come downtown.
Here's kind of a technical question. Say it's a big night. It's a Rockies game. People are going to another game at Ball Arena. Can the parking lots zero out the availability, or is there always going to be some availability for $5?
This is why Patty is basically the mayor of Denver, because she asks all the exact questions we had in conversations around negotiation. So what will happen is we will maintain the total number of spots every day. So we're at 3,000 spots now. We think we'll be at 5,000. But they may move them across locations. And so, and the cool thing is, if we have a parking company that has 5,000 spots, they gave us 1,000 of their spots. So they still have 4,000 of their spots they could charge different rates at. And they might have them in multiple lots. And so maybe the lot right next to Coors Field on a Monday when there's no games, we'd have 80 spots in it. On a Tuesday where there's a game, we'd have 10 spots at $5. There might be, but then there would still be 70 other spots around downtown. So they never take those spots off of the availability list, but they could move them occasionally if there are special events, which I think is generally fine, because a lot of times what happens is you come downtown for dinner or to go to the museum and you had no idea there was a Rockies game. And suddenly all of the spots all over town are up 80%. And it's harder for you. And so I think people that are dedicated to the ball game, I would say take light rail. But I think, but you can move them, but they will never reduce them. That was a key negotiation for us, and they were flexible about that. I was very grateful.
Huh. That's interesting.
Because now there are no blackout days, essentially, Patty, right? It's not like, well, this works except for any Saturday, Sunday, or Monday where there's a Rockies game and it's all off the table. That would be too confusing for people. So we insisted on being consistent, and they were great about that.
Wow.
So the city itself owns parking garages downtown, which I've learned since discovering that this was going to be a proposal you made today. Are those part of this program?
We are part of the program, and so we're included in this also. And that was one of the ideas we tried first, Paul, is do we use all the lots that we own and have them be at selective rates? But there wasn't enough volume and wasn't enough geography available. Even if you just came to park at the Pavilions lot, but you want to go to Union Station, probably folks aren't going to park at Pavilions to go to Union Station. So we did contribute them as participants. So we are participating, but we thought we needed a bigger ecosystem of participants than just the city-owned lots alone.
Huh. Can I tell you something, Mayor? I feel like this is a downtown problem with a parking solution. Does that resonate? And maybe not as much a tackling the parking problem, whatever we might have defined that as.
I think it's both. I think I would agree with you that it's both. I think that a big part of downtown for a lot of folks is parking and the affordability of it. And so I do think that changes both the parking challenge you see and the downtown challenge you see. The only fact pattern I think it does not solve for, which we are still working on separately, is a downtown employee who's downtown working 5 days a week or 3 days a week and wants to be able to have cheaper parking for those 3 to 5 days a week they're coming routinely for a regular commuter. And that's where, Paul, we get to other topics you and I like to talk about. For instance, that's why for that strategy, we've given all 15,000 of our city employees eco passes, because we think if you have a regular, predictable commute every day, then that is a great time to use light rail if you can, to use bus if you can, to use a bike if you can. Not to say you couldn't or shouldn't also park, but we think that is a different solution for people that are permanent employees. But we are working on longer term plans on making more parking permanently affordable for downtown employees. That's a separate strategy.
This episode is brought to you by Cozy Earth. Okay, where do I begin? I'm a Cozy Earth fanatic, and my family is too, especially my husband, because this man, he loves to sleep. I mean, he plays drums for a living. Do you work out for a living? I don't. I am what they call living a sedentary lifestyle. But this guy plays drums like a lot, all the time, and he plays them hard. So he's tired. So for Father's Day, the best gift we can give him? The gift of uninterrupted sleep. And no better way to do that than under the cool comfort of Cozy Earth's bamboo sheet set. Made from viscose from bamboo, these sheets really breathe, so no more sweaty nights. Plus, as the laundry lady of this house, I love these sheets because they look and feel luxurious, but I can throw them in the wash and the dryer like a million times, and they still come out looking amazing. Not that my husband cares about that part, but he does appreciate a clean sheet. Summer should feel easy for everyone in the house. Cozy Earth's bamboo sheet set, everywhere pant, and everyday polo are designed to keep him cool, comfortable, and actually relaxed all summer long. Dad lives here. Head to CozyEarth.com and use our code CozyDenver for an exclusive 20% off. That's code CozyDenver for an exclusive 20% off. And if you see a post-purchase survey, mention that you heard about Cozy Earth right here on CityCast Denver.
You touched on the environmental climate piece of this a little bit. I also want to talk about one of your stated goals with downtown, which long term seems to be make it a place that's nicer for people to go spend money or for families to live. Speaking to the is this a parking problem question, CU Denver's director of urban design, Ken Schruppel, was on the show talking about parking a couple years ago. He said, parking is fundamentally antithetical to walkability. Cars are big 4,000-pound machines that frankly don't mix well with fragile human beings, like say families. I wonder if this is are you worried about maybe taking a short-term boon on the downtown revitalization front, when long term this is making downtown a little bit nicer place to live, or a little bit less nice place to live?
Yeah, I don't see it as a trade-off. I see it as a both and. We very much want to make downtown a better place to live. We're adding, 4,000 new units of housing downtown to make that possible. We're working on more public transit and bike accessibility to downtown and around downtown to make it easier. We have closed more and more parts of downtown just to pedestrians, with everything from Glenarm Plaza to Larimer. And so we are finding more and more ways to make downtown pedestrian friendly. But I still think there are a great majority of the city, closer to 90% of folks that still use cars as a major part of their getting around. And if that is true, and downtown is the one place inaccessible to cars, it will just mean folks will shop other places, will eat other places, will spend time other places. And I think we want to do both. We want to make it easy for you to get to downtown and get around downtown with a bike or public transit, and to still be able to get to downtown with a car.
Hmm. Hmm. And it's a little bit of a nudge off street, to not use those on street meters, which is the other piece of this. When you talk to like urbanist folks, they'll say, we have all these big empty garages and we have people circling around the block 100 times waiting for an on-street parking space. I think a lot of Denverites probably, that resonates with them. Is there some bigger long-term parking reform you have your eye on? Like, I know Denver lags when it comes to the cost of on-street parking. That seems like another nudge you could make for people to get into these garages.
Yeah, I think right now this is more linked to our broader goal to make Denver more affordable all the way around. So we're trying to bring prices down wherever we can. So we've avoided adding fees on everything we can, from inspections to trash to parking to the rest, because people are getting nickel and dimed every place they go, and we would like to not be adding to that. Even though we're in tough financial times, we're not balancing this budget on the back of increasing fees of residents right now. And so I think that's why we did this. That's why we wanted this as the structure. We are definitely, still looking at long term. We want more and more activation in downtown. If you look at our vision around a lot of the stadium construction, those are a real move away from parking lot city stadiums, where you have a activation location with 20,000 parking spaces around it. Those, Ball Arena, River Mile, Summit, even our new spot for Burnham, those will be neighborhoods that will have residential, recreational, commercial spots, and they'll all be on light rail. They're designed to all be on light rail, so they're easy to get to with public transit. So I think that is part of the bigger picture, what we want to do long term. And if you look at how many fewer lots there are now than there were in Denver 30 years ago, that's the right direction. And we'll probably see even fewer surface lots going forward, because we want to see those spaces used for residential units whenever we can.
Okay, Patty, I've got one more. Do you got any other questions for the mayor on this?
I do have one, but it's a slightly tangential parking issue. It's about bagged meters.
Oh, yes, Patty. I know this one too.
You know this one, because restaurateurs especially, I understand that meters get bagged for different things: construction, roadwork by the city, filming. But sometimes those bags always seem to go up a day or two before they need to and stay up a day or two after, taking away, and restaurants definitely have noticed it, parking right in front where could have people come in for 2 hours for a meal.
So a few things. I'll make a little bit of everybody mad in this response. You're right that the biggest one is generally construction. And people will say, well, that's a blessing. We're investing in downtown. We're building new residential units. That's great for us. Yes, that is great. One thing we're pushing back on is, yes, if you're a construction team, you might need access to a site. You don't need 2 blocks of bagged meters for access to the site. You can have 1 or 2 meters, and you can pull your 1 or 2 trucks in, but all 47 of your staff members don't need to be able to park at a free meter, while the rest of our employers downtown don't get to do that. So we are working to constrain the number of construction bags we give. And the other one, actually, that our restaurants get more upset about is food trucks often, is that sometimes you might have a food truck who comes and permits for a Friday afternoon. But if it's permanent Friday afternoon, it rolls through the weekend sometimes, because we don't have staff on the weekend to unbag them. So our team at Dottie is now coming around. We have folks working Friday nights to come at the end of those and remove those bags. And then this is one place where we are looking at adding costs to the price to bag a meter, because it's too cheap to do it. It's like $30 or $40 for a food truck to do that, when you take away a lot of potential revenue from the restaurant that you're in front of. So that's one place where we are looking at saying, if you want to do that, fine. But if you're going to do it on a Friday, either you have to pay for 3 days because you're going to be bagged for 3 days if it's over a weekend, or you got to pay to have it removed as soon as your 4 hours are up. So those are the two approaches we're taking to fewer construction sites and fewer slots for a construction site and faster turnaround on bagging for food trucks or other short-term activations. And our team at Dottie is working super hard to do that.
Okay, Mayor. My last question, it's on about something else entirely. It's an election week. It's also a holiday week. Americans, we're all celebrating the 250th anniversary. I think people have mixed feelings about that this year for whatever reason. But I read from Denverite, they reported that you are scheduled to appear this year at the Sunset Cinema screening of the Nick Cage classic National Treasure Friday evening, where the City of Denver drone show is going to be. I'm curious. They say you're going to make remarks. Like, what are you playing with? Do you know what you're going to say? Do you know what your message is for the 4th of July?
Oh, okay. On 4th of July, I was talking about what my comments going to be on National Treasure.
I'd love to hear those.
I was waiting for your Nick Cage read. I haven't written those yet, but it's exactly the right question. To me, I feel like these are the moments to be more patriotic than ever, because it is about, do you believe in an idea that is bigger than one person or one administration or one moment? I always find compelling that if you look at some of the most patriotic populations of Americans over time, they have disproportionately been some of the most mistreated populations of Americans, right? You find African Americans, some of the most patriotic populations, new immigrants to this country, some of the most patriotic populations. And they have all the reasons to be angry at this country, be frustrated, be furious. And they maintain that sense of belief because they believe in an idea that is bigger than any one president or any one administration. And I think that's, to me, what I refuse to give up on. So and I always, I believe in citizen based ambassadors, right? Like citizen diplomacy is what people ultimately think America is when you come to this country and you walk down the street in Denver and you bump into someone and you talk to them. And that is something we still control no matter what the president does. And so I still deeply believe in who we are and who this place is. And I will say that I think there was a quote from Born on the 4th of July. I love this country enough to change it. And I think that is more true now than ever.
Yeah, that is a pretty good quote. National Treasure's got some good ones too. None that I remember off the top of my head, but I do think that's a pretty good movie.
Let's remember that 4 weeks after the 250th is the 150th of Colorado. When you talk about wanting to make a change, I think that's what a lot of people come to Colorado to do or stay in Colorado to do, to get around things that might be going on in D.C.
I've described Denver as the home of the open frontier, where both words really matter. Like open matters intensely because it is a place that is open to anyone, and so it is a place that's historically been welcoming to immigrants, to African-American pioneers, whether it's Barney Ford or Justina Ford or C.J. Walker, and not without our difficult parts of our history, but people have been able to come here and feel like they were welcome no matter where they came from. And then it still felt like the frontier. It still felt like you were connected to the land. There's a sense of the West, but there's mostly a sense of opportunity that, people don't care who your granddaddy is or where you came from. If you're willing to work hard here, you can make it. Patty, Federico Pena has been telling me this stat he loves. He's been shopping around that I think of all 7 of the last 7 mayors, not a single one was born in Denver. It's like every one of them came to this place, like all the rest of the folks that came here, because they wanted to build something, build a life, build a family.
Build a CityCast podcast. Build a newspaper.
Build CityCast. Build a newspaper, right? All of us came here and built things. And this is a place that's welcoming to folks to come and build things. And so I feel like, the places like Denver feel even more important. And I agree with you, Patty. Our 150th feels even more important to say we're part of America, but we also were a fundamentally maybe stronger and deeper conviction about what it meant to keep the country open and to keep opportunity open for everybody.
Well, that's an awful nice note to end on. Mayor Mike Johnston, Patty Calhoun, thanks so much for joining me.
It was so great to be with you all. Thanks for having me.
Take care, y'all.
Next time we'll meet for a drink downtown and you can all park.
And then not drive drunk.
It will be a non-alcoholic cocktail.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
See y'all soon.
See ya. Take care.
Hey, Bree here with Andy Kaler, VP of Building Programs at Energy Outreach Colorado. Andy, welcome to CityCast Denver.
Thank you, Bree. Appreciate it.
Tell us about Energy Outreach Colorado. Like, who does the organization serve and what does support from you all actually look like?
Energy Outreach Colorado, or EOC, which is a statewide nonprofit, And we're focused on ensuring that all Coloradans can afford the energy they need to live safely and comfortably in their homes. We serve income qualified households across the entire state of Colorado. That includes seniors on fixed incomes, working families, individuals with disabilities, and many households that are doing everything that they can, but are still finding it difficult to keep pace with the rising utility costs that we're seeing in the state. In terms of programs or support, I think most people know EOC for helping families pay past due energy bills, trying to avoid disconnection. We now offer other programs that can help folks, like repairing and replacing broken heating systems, connecting households to community solar garden programs. We also have energy efficiency programs that lower monthly bills and enhance comfort for our participants by going into homes and making improvements. And we also offer programs for commercial spaces, like affordable housing communities and nonprofit facilities that serve low-income participants.
We're heading into what's forecast to be a hotter than normal summer. I wonder, how would this impact a family in Colorado that's, again, maybe already struggling to pay their energy bills?
Air conditioning is now becoming a health and safety necessity in Colorado. The unfortunate challenge in this scenario is that cooling a home relies on the use of electricity or energy, and electricity costs have continued to increase. So as temperatures rise and families either add cooling because they didn't have cooling in the past, or run their air conditioning more often, monthly utility bills are increasing significantly. And the biggest impact that we see is that many households are forced to make trade-offs in this situation. And this is a common theme in the affordability landscape, but they may delay paying other bills, reduce spending on groceries, postpone medical expenses, or fall behind in rent in order to keep the lights on and maintain that safe indoor temperature.
And you kind of alluded to this. This is sort of a newer problem for Colorado, where we're dealing with things in the summer months that we haven't before. But it makes me think about, like, compared to our colder fall and winter times of the year, there are already programs like LEAP that are here to help. But I understand there's like a pretty significant gap here in energy assistance when we get into these warmer months. Can you explain what happens when programs like LEAP shut down for the summer?
Programs like LEAP, like you identified, provide critical assistance. And during that October to April range, please apply if you qualify. They're great programs. But when a seasonal program ends, like LEAP, many families are left with very few options, even though their energy needs don't go away. So for some households, summer is becoming just as financially stressful as winter, and that's how we see it. But as temperatures rise, electricity usage rises with it, especially for households that are relying more and more on air conditioning to stay in their home. And that's where Energy Outreach Colorado often fills an important gap. We operate year-round and can provide assistance when families face energy emergencies outside of that traditional heating season. And what we frequently hear from families and the agencies that we work with is that energy costs and the burdens they put on households really aren't seasonal anymore in Colorado. Households are experiencing affordability challenges throughout the entire year. So as Colorado experiences more extreme weather events, whether that's heat waves in the summer or cold snaps in the winter, that year-round need is becoming more and more apparent.
Something else we have to talk about, like you were talking about extreme weather events, is Colorado also deals with wildfires and wildfire smoke every summer now. I wonder how that compounds things for families who might otherwise just, say, try to open a window to stay cool.
Wildfires are absolutely becoming more and more prevalent in the West. They're a major challenge that really exacerbates the issue that we're discussing. Wildfire smoke creates a really difficult situation in that it takes away one of the most affordable ways people have traditionally cooled their homes in Colorado, which you identified, which is opening the windows at night. Historically, families just have done that, using fans, bringing cooler Colorado air into the home. But when smoke levels are high, opening windows is really not an option. At Energy Outreach Colorado, we're increasingly thinking about energy and energy affordability and that connectivity to public health. And so when a family can afford to cool their home during a heat wave or keep their windows closed during a smoke event, that becomes more than just an energy issue. It becomes really a health and safety issue.
Well, Andy, thank you so much for being here.
Well, I appreciate you having me, Bree. Thank you so much.
If you want to help keep Colorado families safe, cool, and connected this summer, head to energyoutreach.org to donate. Your contribution goes directly towards bill payment assistance for income-qualified families across the state who are at risk of losing power. Thanks for listening to CityCast Denver.
That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed the show, why not take a minute to tell Nick Cage about us? Rate the show wherever you get your podcasts, follow us on Instagram or TikTok at CityCast Denver, and subscribe to our morning newsletter at denver.citycast.fm. Thanks to all our new neighbors who joined the membership program. You too can support the show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Denver neighbor today at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. See you then.